In the 1960s, conservators at some of the most prestigious museums in the world were cleaning priceless medieval tapestries, 600-year-old embroidery, irreplaceable. One wrong product and centuries of history dissolve in the basin. They did not use modern detergent. They did not use any commercial product at all. They boiled a wild plant that grows in roadside ditches across England and strained the liquid through cloth. That liquid cleaned what nothing else was trusted to touch. The plant is called soapwort. It grows within walking distance of almost every human settlement in the northern hemisphere. You have probably pulled it out of your garden and thrown it in the compost. Before the first synthetic shampoo bottle was sealed in a factory, human beings washed their hair with plants, not as a primitive stopgap, as a system that worked so well it sustained entire industries for centuries. Medieval textile workers built their entire cleaning operation around it. Franciscan and Dominican monks carried it across Europe and called it a gift from God. The finest fabrics in Tudor England were washed in it. Then, in the years after World War II, a single synthetic molecule replaced all of it. Not because it was better, because it was cheaper to manufacture and easier to seal in plastic. Stay until the end, because the word shampoo itself carries the fingerprints of the system that buried this plant. And once you know where that word actually comes from, you cannot unknow it. The plant that built an industry. In 1597, an English herbalist named John Gerard published the Herbal, or General History of Plants, the most comprehensive plant encyclopedia the English-speaking world had yet produced. He devoted an entry to soapwort and named it by the Latin it already carried, saponaria, from sapo, the Latin word for soap. The name was not new. The plant's use was not new. Gerard was simply recording what every laundress, fuller, and monastic gardener in England already knew. Franciscan and Dominican monks first brought soapwort to England from Northern Europe. Monastic garden records document it from 1050 AD. They used it to clean their liturgical garments. By the end of the Middle Ages, it was the standard cleaning agent in textile workshops across England and northern France. The workers who washed, softened, and finished cloth were called fullers. The French still call soapwort by their name for it, herbe à foulon, fuller's herb. The ruffles and lace worn at the Tudor court were washed in it. In ancient Rome, it softened the water in public baths. In the Swiss Alps, shepherds washed their flocks in it before market. Different centuries, different countries, different languages. Same plant, same foam, same result. Why it works? The leaves, roots, and stems of soapwort contain compounds called saponins. Crush the plant into water and it produces real lather, not the pale rinse of wishful thinking. Actual foam that breaks down oils and lifts dirt from surfaces the same way synthetic soap does. The roots are the most potent part. In summer, when the plant is in full bloom, the saponin concentration in the roots reaches 20%. This is the same chemistry that museum conservators trusted with 600-year-old tapestries, the same chemistry that grows wild in every hedgerow and crumbling garden wall across the temperate world. Every continent had the same answer. Soapwort was never a European secret. In the American Southwest, the Navajo and Pueblo peoples crushed the roots of yucca to produce a rich lather for washing hair and wool. The practice is documented in ethnobotanical records going back centuries, and yucca root is still used in traditional Navajo ceremonies today. In Central America and the Caribbean, soapberry trees produced fruit with the same saponin chemistry. In West Africa, the fruit of the soapberry was used to wash cloth and skin for generations before European contact. Different continents, different plants, different centuries, the same chemistry, the same foam, the same clean result. Every inhabited region on Earth independently arrived at the same solution, not because they traded notes, because the answer was growing in the ground beneath their feet. It took one generation of industrial chemistry to replace all of it with a single synthetic molecule. The word they took from India. Here is where the word shampoo comes from. In India, the traditional hair washing system has been in continuous use for thousands of years. The process begins with warm oil, massaged deep into the scalp. The Sanskrit word for this massage is shampoo. That word traveled through colonial trade routes into the English language. It became shampoo. The plants used for the actual washing, Ratha, the soap nut tree, and shikakai, a thorny climbing shrub that grows wild across central India. Both contain the same saponin chemistry as soapwort, mild lather, effective cleaning, no stripping, no residue. The shampoo industry took the word for an ancient oiling ritual, attached it to a bottle of synthetic surfactant, and sold it back to 1 billion people who had been washing their hair without paying for it for 4,000 years. So what is actually in your shampoo bottle right now? Turn it over. Read the second or third ingredient on the label. It will almost certainly say sodium lauryl sulfate, or SLS. Here is what that molecule is and why the industry chose it over a plant that had been working for 1,000 years. The molecule that replaced a millennium. Sodium lauryl sulfate is a synthetic surfactant derived primarily from petroleum or palm oil. It was developed in the 1930s and already appearing in early shampoo formulas before the war began. During World War II, it found a new role. As an industrial degreaser for military engines and equipment, when the war ended in 1945, the chemical industry never stepped back. It pushed SLS into every bathroom in the Western world. Not because SLS was better for your hair, because it was cheaper to manufacture at industrial scale and easier to ship across continents in identical bottles. Think about what that journey looks like. SLS is synthesized in a chemical plant, trucked to a bottling facility, sealed in plastic, loaded onto cargo ships, stacked in warehouses, shelved under fluorescent lights, scanned at a register, squeezed into your hair, rinsed into the water table, and purchased again 4 weeks later. Soapwort is a perennial. Plant it once. It returns every year through underground root networks that push further outward each season. It cannot be patented. It generates zero recurring revenue, and it grows freely in every hedgerow and abandoned garden edge across the entire temperate world. A plant first recorded in monastery gardens in 1050 AD, named and documented by John Gerard in 1597, used by Tudor laundresses, Swiss shepherds, Roman bathkeepers, and museum conservators cleaning artifacts, no synthetic product was trusted to touch, replaced not by something better, but by something that could be manufactured, bottled, and sold again and again and again. The National Trust in Britain used soapwort to clean its most delicate historical textiles for decades. Museum conservators still reach for it when nothing synthetic can be trusted. The plant is still growing in the ditch at the end of your street. It has been waiting there the entire time.